What's going on, everyone? So we are currently in the All-Star weekend of 2024. It's been kind of, right? I mean, the three-point contest is always a ton of fun. Seeing Damian Lillard go and win that. The Sabrina versus Steph thing I actually thought was really cool, and it was very entertaining. And Sabrina absolutely just did amazing. And believe me, we're going to touch on that here in a moment. I'm sure you're aware by the title of this video. But outside of that, it's just like All-Star Weekend. They're trying to find ways to keep things entertaining, right? The Celebrity Game, the Rising Stars Challenge. It's fun. It's cool. It is what it is, right? We'll see how the All-Star Game goes. Adam Silver talked in his press conference about how he wants to get that back to being a real game, rather than it just kind of being this like entertainment thing. And even he admitted fault, and just like, we focus so much on the entertainment side of things for this All-Star game in particular, that we want to do a better job of kind of correcting that and getting it back to basketball. So hopefully that happens. We'll see how that goes. But Kenny Smith, Kenny Smith had himself a day. Curious to see how he looks beginning today to close out this All-Star weekend. The internet is in a total frenzy right now over Kenny Smith and the things that he said and the way he approached this All-Star weekend. And it was pretty rough. There's some extreme opinions on this regard, and there's people that are basically coming for him and wanting him to just basically go into a hole and hide. Look, he definitely said some stuff that just didn't really fly. That was kind of like, dude, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, why are you saying some of this stuff? And he's always been, opinionated. He's always said things. He's said shocking things in the past before. Like, this isn't like a huge surprise like some people make it out to be. I don't think he said anything. Like, people want him canceled. Like, people are like, that's it. He's off the air forever. His life is over. He just ruined his career and all that. I don't think it's that far. I don't think it's that extreme. I don't think he said anything that was that terrible. There definitely was some underlying stuff that you could kind of look at and go, that was, maybe you could reel that back in and maybe not do that. Like some of the stuff with Sabrina and then Jaquez, right, when he was doing his dunk contest and stuff, some stuff that you just can't say on national television in real time, kind of raises some eyebrows. But again, it's like, I don't know. Me personally, I'm not big on cancel culture. I'm not big on trying to take people's livelihood. I'm not big on trying to just ruin people's lives unless it's like extremely warranted, right? Now, if he would have came on and said some stuff, it's YouTube, so you got to be cautious with the way I phrase things. But if he would have came on and said some real, stuff about Sabrina in particular, outside of like, hey, because I mean, he says, right, first off, let's praise Sabrina and how amazing she was in this, because she was absolutely incredible. Seriously, I mean, I don't know how you watch that and go, which is what's just so odd to me by Kenny, right? Like, to me, it was more so of the moment, like he ruined the moment rather than the things he said, because originally she was supposed to shoot from the women's three-point line, and she was supposed to use the women's basketballs. They then moved her to the NBA three-point line, and then she continued to use the women's basketballs. And she did so well, she would have been in the finals against all the other men in the main event, right? Like, that was the number, the 26 was the number in which everybody, that the final four guys all hit to get to that final round, to get into the tiebreakers. She was spectacular, right? And it was kind of like this thing where it's like, okay, like, no, how is this going to go, right? She's up there. You can see she's a little nervous. She's a little anxious. She's a little excited. Steph is there, just Steph. I mean, this is what he does, right? This is his thing. And she went out there and she just killed it. She really did. She was absolutely amazing. Those first two racks were spectacular, right? And that's the thing that's just so frustrating, right? It's just, I get, it's like, well, if she would have, one, I think he phrased it terribly. I get his sentiment of like, if she would have shot from her 3-point line, from a women's 3-point line, then she might have actually won and she might have actually beat Steph just based on how well she did from the men's 3-point line. But I just think the timing and the way he phrased it, right, I just thought was terrible. But what did he say that was that bad that deserves him to be canceled? Like, that to me is silly. Did he have terrible timing and the way that he kind of phrased those things were terrible? Yes. And I get it was the total package throughout this entire day. He was like just constantly saying stuff where you're just like, dude, come on, man. Like, you're just, you have a shovel right now and you're just digging a deep hole. And, and instead of getting on there and praising the moment and praising what Sabrina did and how great she was, he kind of just went the other way with it, which is what is so frustrating and is what bothered me, right? To me, it was just kind of like, save that for later, right? Or, when you're having a discussion or when you get with the other guys, now after everything's said and done, you get with Shaq and Charles and you're having that breakdown, you're having that discussion, right? That way you have time to kind of think of how you want to phrase things and you kind of go the proper way. Because I don't think there would have been anything wrong with, again, after the moment's over, you're having a conversation and you go, hey, like, man, I wonder if she would have won, or I believe she would have won had she have shot from the women's 3. Because that's the thing, right? Like, I don't think that there would have been anything wrong with that. But him speaking in the moment and taking away her moment, I thought was just, it wasn't a good look, right? I just thought that was not the way to go about it. And then the way he's just like, I understand the frustrations from just the world. Because it's like, we all saw how incredible she was and how great she did. And it's like, the NBA and the WNBA and all the people that care are all trying, like, this was a monumental moment, right? This was a moment to merge and bring both sides together, right? This was a moment in which you had an opportunity to really just highlight how skillful these women are and to really uplift them and put them in a similar category. And, the WNBA gets just so much slack and so many jokes and whatnot. And it's just, this was a glorious moment, I thought, for both leagues. Because she did so well. You think about that, you're just like, man, like, I wonder what she would have looked like against Karl Anthony Towns, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, right? Like Malik Beasley, like all those guys. Like, would she have been in the finals with them? Right? Based on her run? She basically went up against Thanos when it comes to 3-point shooting and lost. Like, it's like, could she beat Dame? Could she beat Trae? Could she beat some of these other guys? Right? Is it just that, like, that was the theme. That was what was so special. It was just like, she did such a great job. Instead of uplifting and looking at this as a moment to where it's like, man, imagine what this could do for the WNBA. You just put a huge spotlight on the WNBA and its league. Look at like Caitlin Clark and like all of these young stars that are in, the NCAA and then the WNBA and Las Vegas, the Aces winning championships. And they just there's just so much incredible talent that is cycling in, and these women are getting better and better and better. And you had a moment, and I felt like Kenny really took away from that moment. And I just felt like, sometimes it's better to say nothing, right? Sometimes the best answer is no answer. And I just felt Kenny really messed that up. But again, that to me, I don't think the man should lose his career over what he said. I just think, I could see the apology coming. I could see I didn't mean to, that definitely thing. But the Jaquez thing, right? The Jaime Jaquez, that to me was an even worse look, right? Because it's like you've already gone through these motions of just saying things that aren't great and just kind of talking a little too much, right? And just rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And granted, he probably doesn't know in real time. He's just kind of being himself and doing his thing out there. But it's the compound interest, so to speak, right? It's like he says the stuff about Sabrina and that moment, and then you have this moment in the dunk contest where he's talking about Mexicans, and it's just like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, what is going on here, man? Like, you really thought in your head that was a great way to approach it? And it's just, again, it's the compound stuff. Again, I don't think it's anything that he should just lose his livelihood over, but I definitely think it's something that, like, he's probably, like, his PR team is probably going to have some work to do. I could see the apology come in. Maybe it's probably best just not to say anything and just kind of let it blow over, right? Because sometimes the apologies make it worse. Sometimes saying stuff just makes it worse because you're never going to appease everybody. You're never going to appease both sides. So it's just kind of like, do you just stay quiet, let it blow over and just continue going about your business? Or do you need to say something? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But it's just, again, he needs to reflect on the day, because it was not good. It was not a good day. And, I completely get people's outrage. I'm not outraged about it. I just thought he just said some silly things. I just thought he said some stuff that he never should have said. I just think he ruined several moments, and one in particular with Sabrina that I thought that could have been very impactful. And he just kind of went the other direction with it rather than harping on the moment and how successful that moment was. Because that moment could have went a lot of different ways, right? Like, that moment could have ended badly. Like, if she would have gotten like a 12 or something and Kenny says that, then sure. But, like, she did amazing. Like, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, if she was terrible and he's like, man, she should have shot from the women's line, then it's like, yeah, sure, I get it. I get why you would say something like that. But she did great. And she went against the greatest shooter we've ever seen, and she held her own. Like, that's just what is so bizarre to me. That out of all the things he could have said, he chose those things. He chose that to say. He chose to basically downplay the moment rather than uplifting and praising the moment. And then the Jaime Jaquez thing, it's like, come on, dude. Like, the thing is, then he goes and praises. So he criticizes one, nod and inspired moment, and then praises another nod and inspired moment. And it's just like everything he was doing was just trying to make himself look worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes the best answer is no answer. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree with my points? Do you think, like, yeah, he really dropped the ball, needs to learn to not just say everything that comes to mind sometimes? You would think somebody that's been on TV as long as he has would know a little better and would be a little wiser, but, he can't go back, right? He did what he did. Do you agree with me that, like, yeah, the guy doesn't deserve to lose his livelihood, doesn't deserve to be canceled or anything like that, but he definitely messed up. Do you feel like it's no big deal? Do you feel like it was a big deal? Do you think he, bare minimum, should give an apology? Again, he messed up. He messed up bad. I don't think it was just some of the stuff I've seen on like Twitter or X or whatever, and some of these other platforms and stuff where people are just like, this guy is this, that, and the other. And it's like, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I don't think the guy should lose his life because, he said a couple things, right? But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.